Hi everybody, Mary Brown here, aka Pterodactyl. Welcome to the Pterodactyl's Nest channel. Today I wanted to do a walkthrough and micro review of the Visionary Path Tarot by Lucy Delics. This came out in 2020 from Park Street Press, and it's a deck I've worked with a lot and just wanted to go ahead and share it on this channel because I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I don't know if it's still in print or not. I did see that there's still a few copies available on Amazon. That's where I got it. Oddly enough, it's like one of the really less expensive decks. Like, I don't know, if you go on Amazon tonight, at least in the United States, I saw copies there for like $14. So it's worth it, if you dig the artwork. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. I have worked with this deck a lot since I got it in, and I keep a little crystal in with it, of course, since I got it when it came out in 2020. The guidebook that comes with it, there's really not much to it. It is worth reading. There's like, 1, 2 lines, really just kind of keywords for each of the cards. So this isn't a deck that you're going to buy so you can learn the meaning of the cards. You should kind of buy it if you already have your own meanings of the cards and the artwork speaks to you. There are some tarot spreads in this, 3-card spread, a 5-card spread, and Celtic cross spread, and the horseshoe spread. So these are like kind of normal spreads. The 5-card is a little bit different in that, I think everybody does. It's kind of like the 3-card spread. We all have our own different versions of it, right? This 5-card spread is interesting because, it does, like most 5-card spreads, it forms a little cross, and you can see different outcomes when moving forward. In the top card, past that is still influencing the present, current situation, future outcomes, reason behind current events. So I actually kind of like this spread. It's very similar to like my own spread that I use quite often. But anyways, yeah, the book, the main thing that's kind of cool about the book is Lucy Delics. Really like, and she makes herself pretty, just bare and vulnerable when she talks about how her journey making this tarot deck started for her. And it's really a fascinating read. Just all the different things that she went through. That's the most interesting part of the book that comes with the deck. And at the end here, she said, channeled from high up in the Andes, this is my gift to you to help you remember that your dreams are just as real as mine. We can all dwell in the heart and manifest the life we dreamed of as a child. We are all free. I didn't know anyone as I started this creation, and now as I write this, I sit next to my beautiful family as a loving partner and mother. My wish is for this tarot deck to assist you on your path of discovering your true purpose. I hope it can bring you peace and inspiration and help shed some insights and clues for you and for the person who is being read. And remember, most importantly, love. Love before and beyond everything else. And it's just, and at the end, she has a phrase in Quechuan, that's a dove from my heart. It's a metaphor for thank you. This spoke to me on so many different levels. You know, I'm really someone who has benefited from learning about uh, Andean, shamanic practices through the teachings of a lot of different teachers. Most importantly, Sharon Rommel and, Alberto Villoldo and, Don Oscar, so if you're on that path of, if you're a shamanic practitioner who happens to also be into tarot, you got to look for this deck and check it out. It's not that it's based on that or anything, but this is like, a fellow walker on that path. And I think that helped me relate to the deck. So let's go ahead and just look at it, because I think it's just. I want to hurry up and do this walkthrough so I could go back to working with this deck, okay? That's the truth of it. Anyways, yeah, so there's a guidebook. The best thing about it is her story. Nice sturdy lift top box, doesn't have the thumb cutouts. Who cares? I don't care. It's not like I'm struggling to open it, right? This is the back design. Totally not reversible. Who cares? I don't care. Sometimes I care about that. I don't care. I love the color purple. So there's a purple, purple box, purple back design. She did all the artwork for this, and there you go. And so let's just start looking at it. And I'm not going to say a lot about it. There's a full card. I'll let you just see what you think yourself of it. And we're just going to walk through this. There's the Magician. Okay. And the High Priestess. I love the High Priestess in this deck. And the Empress. And, I will say this. I find this deck to be so intuitive. If you do intuitive tarot readings, and I guess what I mean by that, like for me, it's like, yes, I like using all sorts of decks. And, I find when I do readings, my tarot knowledge informs my readings. Absolutely. Sure. As I'm sure it does for all of you. But, intuition comes into play. And this is a deck that really just opens that up. At least for me. Here's the Emperor card. So just something to think about. The Hierophant. I mean, I just love, 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 love this deck. Here is the Lover's card. I'm getting these kind of, there we go. I'll just put those face up. I'll put them in the box when I'm done. Okay, the Chariot. And, in the book, she doesn't go into any symbolism in the deck, or she doesn't really explain the imagery, but I don't feel like they really need a lot of explanation either. The Strength card, the Hermit card. And the Hermit, I think it's a really cool take on it. I like the flow of the illustrations. They're just these black and white and gray, with the bright purple border. If you don't like borders, who cares? They don't get in the way of anything. They sort of frame these black and white gray illustrations very well. I think it actually really adds something to it to have the the purple border around with the little gold thin border. Really makes it look like a frame. This is the Wheel of Fortune. The Justice card. And so, yeah, not Rider-Waite-Smith, not Tarot de Marseille. Here's the Hanged Man. Not Thoth. It's Lucy Delics. you know, the Death card. But I don't think it matters so much, what system you've studied or you're trained in order to work with this deck, the Temperance card. I just feel like, there's the titles that you can work with and just allow yourself to get into this. The Devil card. I know a lot of times people are looking for conformity, and you're not going to get that at all with this deck, really. There's the Tower card. And I think it's really okay that you don't get it. The Star card. The Moon. The Sun. You do get that sort of Andean vibe with some of the artwork, which really, really, really works for me. The Judgment card. I just think it's beautiful, and it's been such a pleasure to work with this deck. Here we have the World card. It's so different, it's so wild, and I feel like you just like drop into it. You just tap into the vibe here and drop into this universe that she's created with this deck. Ace of Wands. And again, the titles are all traditional. Two of Wands. I find that it's a Three of Wands. A lot of the things that I care about and I look for. There's the Four of Wands. When it comes to, say, like a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, I don't know. I give this a pass on everything. Five of Wands, because I think it's just so unique, Six of Wands. And at the same time, sometimes when people, really go off the path, right? Seven of Wands with their tarot, artwork, you know, Eight of Wands. I mean, that's almost traditional there with the Eight of Wands. If they were flying, I guess it would be even more so. But a lot of times when people just, take tarot in a different direction, and just slap titles on artwork that seems to have nothing to do with it, yeah, they get a lot of flack. I just don't get that vibe from this. Nine of Wands. Yeah, it's totally off the Rider-Waite-Smith train here. The Ten of Wands, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I've, been like a, shamanic practitioner now for a few years, and Page of Wands, and just, I don't know. I feel that sort of simpatico, I guess, with Lucy and her work here. The Knight of Wands. And I just don't have an issue with it. There's the Queen of Wands. It's wild and vibrant. It's psychedelic, which is really interesting because it's black, white, gray, and the bright, bright color that when we think of the psychedelic deck, is really just that purple around it. There's the King of Wands. But it just really speaks to me. And Ace of Cups there. And in a way that I don't feel like I have to justify it to anybody. The Two of Cups. But I wonder, how it is for somebody who's really looking for something. They're expecting something to be like really conforming, 2 like traditional imagery, 3 cups with just a like slight new spin on it. And this is not that deck if that's what you're looking for. 4 of Cups. There are, you know, hints of it, hints now and then of, you know, some of the traditional imagery, but they're really few and far between. Here we have the 5 of Cups. And it's like, for this deck, I don't care. You know, I'll show you some other decks that have kind of tried to accomplish the same thing, kind of gone their own way, that just don't speak to me. You know, that I think it just didn't really work for me, but for some reason Visionary Path Tarot totally works for me. 8 of Cups. And it may come down to whether or not you're looking for, there's a 9 of Cups, whether or not you're looking for that, you know, those common things that you're used to seeing in the Rider-Waite-Smith system when it comes to symbolism and the artwork. You know, if your reading style is dependent upon seeing, you know, those images or similar images to that, you know, then yeah, you know, it might be, maybe it's hard. I don't know, but if you're just open to it, Page of Cups, you know, I think that this might be a great deck, especially if you do intuitive readings or you're interested in trying that. I think that it helps to kind of find a deck that the Queen of Cups, that kind of takes things in a different direction when it comes to the artwork. I know, because sometimes, you know, we talk a lot about people that start off reading intuitively, Ace of Swords, and, you know, and then they learn, you know, the traditional card meanings and stuff later. It was kind of what happened with me. You know, if you do it backwards and you're coming from, you know, a more traditional style of reading and wanting to read more intuitively, see, there's a 3 of Swords, and I think, you know, it does kind of look like 3 swords piercing a heart, but like in a very different way, you know. Yeah, I think if you're kind of going the opposite direction, coming from reading traditional with traditional symbolism and traditional artwork in the decks that you use, this might be a deck to try in order to read more intuitively. There's a 4 of Swords. And also, you know, it just is kind of, it all comes down to what speaks to you, right? It sort of doesn't matter what anybody says. There's the 5 of Swords. You know, when it really comes down to it, either a deck, you can really relate to it, or you can't, you know. 6 of Swords, you know, because I find that there's a lot of decks, you know, there's a lot of videos out there, right? It's like the best tarot deck, or my favorite, or my top 5, or my top 10, the 7 of Swords. And, you know, I love watching those videos on other people's channels and stuff, but I also feel like, yeah, it doesn't make any difference. 8 of Swords. It's like, it doesn't matter what somebody else's favorite deck is, you know? It's like, you see it and you either connect or you don't. 9 of Swords. And then sometimes when you see a deck, you know, some decks just look good on paper, and then when you get them in person and try to work with them, you find that there's just not a connection. There's a 10 of Swords. So I wanted to make sure at least that people could, you know, see the artwork in this deck and maybe see if they feel a connection to it, if it's speaking to them or not. Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords. I love her hair. And the King of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. It's just beautiful. And the Two of Pentacles. And I think, there's a lot of different uses with this. You might get this deck to do a particular type of reading. There's the Three of Pentacles. You might decide that this is a deck that you want to do shadow work with. Maybe ancestor work with. Use this deck to connect to your ancestors, maybe your past lives. Here is the Five of Pentacles. Sometimes, it's great to get like an unusual deck like this, Six of Pentacles, to use for a specific purpose. Seven of Pentacles. Whether that's like path working ritual, past lives, ancestors. Eight of Pentacles. If you're a shamanic practitioner, you might want to work with this deck, in just a ritualistic way. Nine of Pentacles. And 10 of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles. I love the two snakes in the background there. And we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. And then finally, the last one, King of Pentacles. So there you have it. That is, again, let me put my crystal back in there. Keep my deck cleansed and charged. There it is, the Visionary Path Tarot by Lucy Delics, put out by Park Street Press. And you can find it on Amazon. Get it while it's hot. I think I looked, it said like 4 copies left. So I don't know if you happen across this and it speaks to you, it's still out there. This just came out in 2020, and it's a gem. I think. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like the video if you like the video, and subscribe to my channel for more to come. Lots and lots more deck reviews to come. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.